minutes to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCarley, where your digital dreams come true.
Ignition. I am taking over Tool Time today because what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks is I've been working with Lovable. And if you don't know what Lovable is, we're going to talk to you all about that. And so Lovable is a web app building program. And they had a challenge in concert with Gemini. So Gemini and Nano Banana basically said, you can use our stuff inside of Lovable for free for a week. And Lovable said, we're going to have a contest. And each day we're going to give you a theme. So like one of the themes was Lovable for X, do what Lovable did for website building for another industry. Another one was Nano Banana. And so each day they brought out a different theme. And so the challenge was build 7 apps in 7 days. And so I did. I built 7 apps in 7 days. I think the longest I spent on one was 3 hours. Most of them were less than that. I would say anywhere from, we're talking 1 to 3 hour commitment per night. And I built 7 apps in 7 days. And I was really pleased with what the end results were. We're going to talk about it because at the end of the day, these apps probably aren't going to change the world. Most of them were just fun little experiments, but there's a couple of out there that fell out of this project that had been bucket list web projects that I had on my to-do list for weeks and months. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to start that wisp of an idea and we're going to get an MVP out there into the world. This is not about building the best web app available. It's about starting. And it's about getting stuff out there and getting it in a way that is demonstrable, that solves a problem. And then if you can get it to that level and tell a few people about it, it only takes one right person to signal boost that to their world. And maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one that's watching it now. It's going to take one of these ideas and either remix one of my ideas and take it and do something completely your own, or signal boost it to the right people so it can help more and more people. But before we do that, we're going to take a step back. And forgiveness, we were running late today. I did not have time to make these slides as cool as Rick does with Manus. Rick uses Manus to professionally polish all of the slides that you see on our show. And but this is a Manus generated. So I wrote a blog post about how I built the 7 apps in 7 days, and I gave it that blog post. I said, make me a presentation for this. And in about 5 minutes, I had this presentation, which is really, impressive in and of its own right. The fact that I could just have a presentation from a blog post.
Yeah, and I've done it with Perplexity now, and Gemini all can actually, and ChatGPT can make PowerPoint, but they suck, I gotta say. Microsoft PowerPoint, they make the application. You think they would get it tweaked in, but using this is kind of cool that you can actually make really good ones. So they generated the image for you as well?
Yep, generated the image. So
cool.
What is vibe coding for those of you who aren't in? It's a term that kind of dropped onto the tech space about a year ago. And it's basically English as a programming language. So you're describing what you want in natural language, and then the computer and the agents and the code is just writing itself. So the AI is building it for you in real time. And it's not just code, it's not just no code, it's conversational code. So engineers are still very much needed. I work for a software development firm full time, and we have this conversation every day around the virtual water cooler in our Slack space that, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble if you don't know what you're doing with some of these tools, if you're trying to build something at scale. And so that's where the engineers that know how to translate the world of natural language into actual computer code and make sure it's secure and make sure it's functioning properly, that's still an air gap in the system that AI hasn't closed and might never close, because there's always going to be room for bad actors that you always have to guard against. But this does democratize creativity without diluting that craftsmanship. So it does give anybody. And Lovable's campaign was built where they gave a kid a laptop and said, make a website. So it's really
Oh yeah.
about democratizing access.
And forget, and it was the guy's son, right? And it was really
Yes.
cute because he did it, and it's like, I can't wait to know what codes something up. Have you sat with him and made a game or anything yet?
Not yet. No, we haven't gotten that far. I've made games for them that they've played, but I have not done. I've not had him invent his own game yet.
Right.
But we're getting there. We're still
Yeah,
working
yeah,
through
yeah.
Pseudosongs.
Yeah,
But
we're talking
one
about
thing that's
Suno for Halloween,
really
maybe.
yeah, one thing that is that I see a lot of that gets confusing because of the terminology is progressive web versus native apps. So everyone hears, oh, you can build web apps. Oh, like you put on an iPhone or an Android device in Google Play Store and the Apple Store. This is a completely different animal. So to do those, there are applications like Rourke or Android Fire based Studio that can do those native to those platform apps. But Lovable has this new category called progressive web apps. So they're
Oh,
built on the web, they run in your browser, but you can do things like pin them to your home screen. They update in real time. You don't have to have the app update from the store. You can use them offline. But the development time comes way down from weeks and months to hours and days. And you don't have to go through the Apple paywall or the Google Play Store to
so
get noticed. You could just
let me
put it
see
out there.
if I get this. So they have a server. So if I say I want to vibe code a website, I could actually create one, and it goes on their server, so I can play with it and see if it works. And then I can download the code and actually put it somewhere else. I've done that with Manus and PowerPoint the same way.
Yep.
And then what
But
you're talking about
Lovable
is
has
even
their own
more
back end.
complicated. Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so, building with AI, and we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. My creative process is I start with that conversation with ChatGPT to vet ideas, because it's chatting with all of humanity and holding a mirror up against the general user. We used to say, don't be a focus group of one. I'm building something that I like, but I don't know if anybody else is going to like it. Well, now I can just ask ChatGPT, based on what you know about humans, would humans like this? Yes or no? And it can give you some real honest feedback if you train it to give you feedback. If you ask for that feedback, how can I improve this? How can I make this wisp of an idea? Here's what I'm thinking about. Here's the prompt that Lovable gave me. Here's an idea starter. It is
Oh,
flint
wow.
and a piece of twig, and you got to figure out how to start a fire with it. And
Okay.
so to be able to do that, I need to talk, and I maybe talk through either through voice or chatting and texting, talk for 15, 20 minutes. And usually what I'll get to is a point where I'll say, give me 10 ideas, and then I'll whittle that down. And this is where the human creativity comes back in, because I'm not just AI slopping this out. You have to curate the idea. You have to whittle it down. Okay, of these 10, give me these 5, but hone them in. And of those 5, stack rank these 3. And of these 3, let's
Ah,
take this one and compare it. And I like this idea, but I don't like this element. And it's just, iterating until you get an idea. They're like, man, I could really use something like that in my life. Let's
right.
build it. And then all you have to do is give ChatGPT permission, because ChatGPT knows Lovable exists. It has access to the internet, and it knows how to write a prompt to build a Lovable website.
Yeah, I want to make the big picture really visible. So we started with OpenAI saying we can connect ChatGPT to every app. Now it can connect to an app like this, which has its own agent farm. And now
Yep.
things start to happen. And then when you've got the trusted apps you're already using, it goes and checks all your email and everything. And then it's arranging the plane flights because it's based upon what your preferences are. And your 10 friends that you've got in a database, they like sushi and they like to eat this restaurant. And, so yeah, vibe coding, you're vibe living, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if you get good at it, and it's still early
It is
days.
amplifying your creativity. It is really
Right.
amplifying your creativity.
Okay. That's what we're about.
So let's talk about the actual technology that's going behind this. The Lovable Cloud, which was their big launch, is prior to this. If you wanted to do anything with storing data or accessing things securely, you had
Mm.
to go to a company called Supabase, which they partnered with. and you had to set everything up, and it was really highly technical. I did a whole class on it, by which I mean I asked ChatGPT to explain it to me like I was 5.
The whole class.
And you know,
That's actually
I
I say
had
that's great.
done my homework on this, but Lovable
Right.
said, you know what, for the average vibe coder, that's still too high of a barrier. That's still too much to
Yeah.
expect of our average consumer that just wants to just think a website into existence. And so what they started doing was they started saying, we're going to give you storage credits. We're going to do all the back end lifting for you. And even the
Wow.
free users, you can prompt 5 per day or 30 per month. You get 30 prompts per month, which means you can talk to Lovable 30 times a month or once a day. You
Wow.
can do 5 a day, but if you use them, you get like 6 days worth, a week's worth of free prompts if you use them all.
So you can test
And
it out and see if it's
you
your
can
cup
test
of
it out
tea.
for free and stick one toe in the water and see how far you can get. You're probably not going to build an entire website, although the last one I'm very impressed. I did it in 4 prompts because I wanted to prove to myself that it could be
I can
done.
do
We'll
it
talk
in
about that in a
3.
little bit.
It's gonna be named
Well, it
that
was
too,
technically
Richmond.
1, but then I had to make a couple of tweaks. But
Oh, okay. But did you
you
use
know,
ChatGPT to make the prompt? Are you
I
doing
did
that
use
for the front end?
ChatGPT to make the prompt.
Okay. There you go.
But you know, building a website in 1 prompt is still impressive.
Yes, it is.
And
Indeed.
so what they'll do is if you want to use the backend, not every website has to use the backend. So if you're just like, if you just have a brochure site, you know, it's a site
Mm,
for your small business,
right.
and you just have your contact information up there and like
Yeah.
your hours of operation, your about us page. You don't need a backend for that. What you do need a backend for is if you need to store stuff, if you need to do a fitness tracker where you're tracking over
Oh,
time what the calorie count or what the average runtime was. Doing anything in the back end where you're tying that data to a user, you need storage. And so
so
they're giving you this.
it's storing, let's say, your website for how long? What's the expiration date? I mean, I guess at a certain
They
point you can take it down and then deploy it on your own server on Wix or
Yes.
something
Yeah, if
like
you
that. Yeah.
wanted to, you could. If you wanted to take it and you didn't want to give Lovable the keys to the castle, you could absolutely
Yeah.
export this to GitHub, download it, take it off into a GoDaddy server or your own server.
Right.
You know, however you wanted to do it, you could take it wherever you want. But Lovable is
Wow.
basically saying, we believe the future of this is just we're going to host it for you for free. And you can publish as much as you want. They haven't capped that yet. And I believe that there will always be that model for the freemium experience because they do have users that are paying $50, $100, $200 a month to use their service.
Right.
They've grown, they were 100 million run rate revenue very quickly because in less than a year, because they understand that there's a market for people who want to just stick one toe in the water, and there's a market for
And
people who want to dive
and
headfirst into creating.
now you as an amateur can get there. So the whole world in the 1980s and on through was SaaS, software as
Yep.
service. So they're actually you're making the software. So those people are so the 77,000 people that got laid off last week are those coders that built this, oddly enough. As the companies become more efficient. And now it's
Lovable
democratizing it down
didn't lay
to
off people.
no, no, no. Oh, no. But Microsoft did, and so did
Yes.
everybody else, pretty much.
Yeah.
All the big
Yeah,
companies.
and so, you know, the idea is that you can take an idea to app in seconds. And so what they're doing is they're giving you a little bit of storage. So if you want to build the next MyFitnessPal and have thousands of users and stuff,
Yeah.
you're going to have more data than their little free bucket of credits will allow for. But for the average user that's just testing the water, that's getting a minimally
Sure.
viable product,
Yep.
which is, you know, just a proof of concept, that $25 is going to be more than enough that you need to use something for your own personal use, to explore, to be the hobbyist, to submit it for a contest, or
Or
to
be an
submit it to
entrepreneur.
an entrepreneur, to submit it to a
Yeah.
venture capitalist and say, hey, I've got something here. I really want to go with it. Before, to get a proof of concept, you would have to hire a developer, pay thousands of dollars. Now it's just, you just got that. And so with the AI credits involved, they're also giving you $1, one whole dollar of AI credits. And you think, okay, what the heck does $1 get me? Well, thanks to GPT and Gemini Flash 2.5, you could actually do quite a lot of
Oh, okay.
testing for $1. So
So the
you could
price of
generate
image
text, you
generation
could.
is coming way down, and it's exponentially getting. It's almost pennies right now, or tenths of pennies, right? So
Yeah,
let's see
absolutely.
what you did with this. What so how did you apply all
Yeah, and you
this?
can the last point here is
Oh,
you can always add more credits, right?
right,
So if you
right,
want
right,
to
right.
buy more, you don't have to go all in. You could just buy $5 worth of Gemini credits.
So if your nutrition
So
app is working for you, you start your business, you can at least see if you can do it or not, and then you go hire pros to finish it off, perhaps, or would deploy it. But yeah, wow, okay,
yep.
that's some
So
power.
here, so I built 7 apps. The first
Oh
one
wow,
was Success Stacker. It was a habit tracking app that visualized momentum and gamifies personal growth. So it makes daily wins feel achievable rather than punishing. So if you go to success-stacker.com right now, and we'll put these links in the show notes. You can actually sign up for a free account and start tracking your wins. And so, just
wow.
something little like that for me to be able to track my successes and say, okay, I want to know what I'm doing. I'm the type of person that will write something on my to-do list that I already did just so I could have the dopamine hit of crossing it off. Now I can have
I
that
like
in
that.
digital form.
Yeah,
So my award-winning one, the pet diary decoder, which Rick, you actually played with a little bit, was AI generated diary entries from your pet. So what you can
that was
do
awesome.
is you can go to the website there, and I'm going to switch over because I love seeing this. This is
Yeah,
of your pet's secret diary. It's a nana banana image of the cat
it's
and the dog.
beautiful.
And you
Right.
upload your image and you give it your pet's name
What?
and a
I
uh,
forgot. Okay.
platform or a style, and then you generate a diary image. So here's something that somebody did. I don't know this person. This is
So
somebody
do
who
you get
made
to
a,
see what
a
they
diary
generate?
entry for emoji.
Okay. Do you get to
And
see
so
what they
what it
generate?
does is it analyzes the image. So
Okay.
here's an image that somebody gave it, and it said, "I want a playful style." And
Oh,
it says, "Human handshakes are the best. Woohoo! Look at me, all brave and standing tall. My human's hand is super comfy to hold, and I think they love my little front teeth showing." So it generates this whole diary entry for the pet. And
I was looking for my
is
cat
it
right
going to
now
change
because
the world?
this was so
No,
beautiful.
but
No, it's
it's
beautiful. It
fun.
it really so my roommate has a cat. His name's Shadow, and he's black. So I uploaded the picture, and it made the most beautiful story about Shadow's life. Oh my god, that really is award winning, and definitely if you haven't tried it, you should. If you've got a pet, it's a really beautiful app. Now the last one I'm kind of curious about. Go ahead, tell
Yeah,
me
so
what.
this was the one that I if you my one ask for you, if you've stuck around to the show this long, we're an hour and a half in, or if you're watching this back on demand, this is something that I really want your help promoting. And so if we go to imminav.com, IMMINAV.com, I have some friends in the immigration space, and they said, we don't have a knowledge problem, we have a curation problem. And so we
Yes.
don't have a centralized repository that is going to tell us where we can go to get stuff. So I built this in a day, and it's a know your rights navigator for immigrants and advocates to get reliable information about your rights. And so it has this chat box here that you can either write your question, or you can just speak your question into existence. Like, I want to say, how can I prepare my family? And I don't think it, and it's going to give me a response. And so it's going to come up over here, name a caregiver, store IDs, records, memorize keys. But if I want to hear back, I've connected it to 11 labs.
Name a
So I can actually
caregiver.
listen to it.
Store IDs and records in one safe place. Memorize key numbers.
And I can do that in English, or I can do the whole thing in Spanish. And so, I really wanted to do something that had the potential to be impactful on the immigration space.
Oh my god, because I have made an app 4 years ago called Hello USA. Um, and I'm going to share it after you're done. Good. So keep going, but I want to land the plane at the end. Come back to me because I've got something to share.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch back to. So after that, I needed to do something fun, and this is my favorite one that I built. Commuter Trail. So if you've ever played Oregon Trail,
Yeah.
we took that concept and I'm trying to get it up here.
That's what she said.
And turned it into a 2025 Survivor game where you're trying to survive the commuter trail. And so we have Brandon and Rick here. And what it's going to do is it's going to assign me the Slack checker, and Rick is the backseat driver. No surprises there. And so it uses AI to craft the story. All right, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's time for another adrenaline-pumping, existential, dread-inducing commute. And so you play this game and you have to figure out, do I take the train? Do I drive the highway? Or do I try to forge the river? And so I'm forging the underpass, and I made it pretty far. I jumped 10 miles ahead by taking a shortcut.
That's awesome.
And so it's fun. And then the other one that I made that I really like is the Treat Yourself wheel, with homage to Parks and Rec for the Treat Yourself Day. We can take it for a quick spin. We're celebrating 2 months of AI TV. And I'm going to say start the spin, and it's going to spin the wheel and tell me what I can do to reward myself. So I can take a 15-minute break. So maybe later after AI Learning Lab. And so all of these little projects, the one that they're fun, they're informative, they're helpful. Right. And I've done these in 1 to 2 hour sprints. I mean, do you realize how long it would have taken to understand the code and the physics of spinning a wheel like that in the before times?
Coders got to feel like painters during the 1800s, and photography comes along and like, boom, there it is.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
I also did the one I did that was the one shot prompt was hack of the day. And so let me go back.
Can you show us the interface too, and how you?
Yeah.
Like when you actually do it. I don't know if there's something we can get done tonight, but I think what we'll do is we'll post this as a tool time, and we'll add on to the end of it. In fact, Hello USA, I think we should build it and make a whole thing about it.
Yeah. So here's hack of the day. So it says, give me a clever hack that uses AI. And let's say I want to do something witty, and I'm going to generate, and what it's doing is it's using Gemini to generate a brand new image. So let's see, film yourself making a silly face, use AI deepfake tool to swap your face with the celebrities on a random movie clip. You'll create an instant personalized comedic gold for cheering up friends or just a good laugh. And so what it's doing is every time anybody in the world goes to this website and generates a hack, it's saving it. So for all of the ones that people have used while I put this out on Twitter, I now have a repository. And what it does is it makes sure every hack is unique. So you've got an archive of ingenuity.
Could you make an app that made Sora prompts, or make one that tells dad jokes? I mean, you basically. Oh my God, that'd be great. In fact, I think you should demonstrate making a dad joke one. Gas station sushi.
And so the last one that I did that was other than Iminav, the last one that I did that was my favorite, just because I love this image, is Bridge Me. So this is a don't burn your bridge. And what this does is it turns conflict into conversation. And so you have a choice. You could do, before I send something, help me tone shift it. After I send it, how do I unscrew it up? Or if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I can go to live mode and I can say, okay, my boss is mad at me because this demo is taking too long. And they said it's time to land the plane. And I don't know what that means. So I'm going to ask AI, and it says, bridge it now. It says, understand the issue. Okay, Rick, I understand the urgency to get this demo finalized. I'm actively working to wrap it up, the remaining elements efficiently while ensuring everything is robust and ready for a successful presentation. I'll provide an update for you by
Touche.
on the estimated time of completion. So, these are, you have the potential, now, so the biggest challenge that I have is, is marketability, is getting the word out. Like I can put it on my social circles, but until somebody picks it up or I pay to advertise for one of these, it's very hard to get exposure to these.
Is there a repository of people doing these? Was Lovable the sponsor of this project?
They were, Lovable and Gemini co-partnered.
Did they pay you?
And so they have a website where you can see what people have shipped with Lovable. I haven't had a chance to go back and put these there, but they've got 100,000 community members on Slack. They've maxed out Discord. Wow. They are growing fast. But real quick, the lessons learned is that you can start with small ideas and you iterate before building. You have to be explicit with descriptions. You make one change at a time. Focus on the aesthetics, don't accept whatever bland output it gives you, and then iterate and share it. I love this line that Manis came up that I didn't come up with. It doesn't punish imperfection. And so that's really critical as you're starting out. You're like, I'm not a vibe coder. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a website designer. Try lovable.dev, join the community, connect on Discord. The future of software is human creativity amplified by AI. So if we come back in here, just to give us a thought, just to show you how quickly we can move to something, this is lovable.dev and say, I'm cutting this. Let's do this the right way. Let's go over to ChatGPT and say, I am building a new, I was going to do this. I'm building a new website to align with a podcast called AI TV Starship. This site will be the companion to the podcast for show notes. Give me a lovable prompt for this website.
Do you have our logo you could upload?
And thanks. Well, we're going to get there. So we're going to start. We'll see what AI comes up with, and then I've got a hack for that too. So now it's writing my Lovable prompt, and I'm not even going to read this. I'm just going to take this and carbon copy it.
I see it already. NASA meets Star Trek.
So it's going to give me this prompt, and now I'm going to switch over to my tab. I'm just going to blind paste this in, and with the instructions and everything, I don't care. And now it's already spinning up a preview. So it's working in the background. And I'm going to enable notifications for Lovable so it can tell me when it's done, but it's thinking. It thought for 13 seconds. It's transitioned it into something that it can understand, and it says, let me build the digital Starship command center. So it's already taking things that we might use on a future episode and taking it a step further. Now, what it's going to ask me to do here is it's going to ask me to enable Lovable Cloud. That's going to get me into the back end because we could use AI on this back end and stuff. But what I'm going to do, and by the way, Gemini is free through Monday, October 13th. So if you want to try this out, you can use unlimited AI credits inside of Lovable for free. You can generate images from Nano Banana. You can do prompts. And so you can see it's still thinking here. It's editing. This is something that would have taken me and Rick probably without AI, weeks to do. We'd have to go through designs. We'd have to write copy. We'd have to. Exactly. And then it has to be mobile friendly and make sure it does all this. Now, I haven't given it our website. I haven't given it like the YouTube channel. I haven't given it the logo. So this is going to be a purely off the cuff response.
Yeah.
Based on what it knows.
Is it goes back to first principles. So we may have gotten so down the rabbit hole. I like to go back and start over again just to see. There's many things about first principles thinking that's really important. Even redoing it, iterating, that's a great thing. But in context, if you loaded up all the context, everything we ever done, including all the transcripts, then it could make something seriously that would be functional and work to get our workflow going, or suggest where we might use these tools and how. Which is my favorite prompt of all time is this: what have I not thought about that would make me better at what I'm trying to do? And tell me why that would be effective and show me how to do it. That's always my
Yeah.
last prompt, no matter what am I doing in life. Right. So that's a golden ticket right there. And this is cool. How long do you think it will take?
Probably just a few more seconds. So it's editing a contact page for us now, which is great. Because we want guests. If you want to be a guest on the show, please feel free. And it's just putting the finishing touches on this, and you can see, if you see exactly what it's doing, you can see the entire history. So it's generating images, it's thinking, it's editing. My dog's eating the newspaper. It's great. Well,
I was going to offer to show you what Manus looks like. And what I just
here we go. Here we go. Page built
already.
Stand by. This is the world premiere of our new website. And if I come over here,
just click on it, and then you're there.
And without even thinking,
oh my goodness!
Welcome aboard the Starship, your AI-powered podcast to the frontier of artificial intelligence, one episode at a time. I love the color scheme. It came up with a logo. We got the rocket. We've got our episodes.
Now we're doing mission
log. Exactly. So for all our show notes, and so some of this is Greeking, some of this is made up, right? Like we've done 42 episodes, but
wait a minute.
Placeholder text.
I just had a great thought. Could you copy and paste the YouTube link to this, to the episodes, and have it populate with real content?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You could join the crew, contact us, mission logs, and now watch this. So AI Starship command.lovable.com. If you pump that in, I'm publishing it right now. And what they're doing is they do a free security review on every website to make sure you're not
Genie
you're not
had
breaking anything.
Yeah, Genie had two questions about security, and this, which I think we're kind of answering, but there's a lot more to talk about because that's a pretty difficult subject for a lot of reasons. But the other part that's really cool is she's asking about did it pick the color palette? It actually did, based on what your theology was when you asked the question. So if you ask smart questions,
and so now
it knows what this website would do.
Granted, it's janky and it's hallucinated episodes that we didn't do, but AITV-starship-command.lovable.app is live out on the internet for the world. My dog is very excited about it. And the thing is, you could even, like, we're going to register a domain. You could actually link a domain right in Lovable right to this website. So that's Lovable.
Wow. Okay.